Hi everyone, welcome back to Dave's Math Channel, where I've been featuring a new feature all year, my personal top 3,000 rock and roll songs of all time from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2983, which is Catch Us If You Can by the Dave Clark Five. Here's a picture of the album cover, and this song was featured in a popular movie, which I never saw, but it was called, in England, it was called Catch Us If You Can. In America, they changed the name to Having a Wild Weekend. I assume it was just one of those kind of wild teenage movies. I think it was also a profile on the Dave Clark Five. I heard it was kind of like A Hard Day's Night, which I did see, by the way. And by the way, I wasn't really crazy about the movie A Hard Day's Night. There wasn't much of a plot to it. It was more just kind of a profile of the Beatles. A lot of people might disagree with me. I love the music in that movie, and I love just about all the music by the Beatles. But I wasn't crazy about Hard Day's Night. Although I did really like their other movies. I really liked Help. Help was just kind of a crazy comedy about nothing, basically, but it was funny. And Yellow Submarine, I think, is a classic. Even though the Beatles didn't really speak in it, but there was great music in it. And I never saw Magical Mystery Tour. I heard it was really bad. I never saw Let It Be either, although I heard that one wasn't so great. But, anyway, that's enough of that. The Dave Clark Five, in case you don't know, they were a big British invasion band that started just about the same time as the Beatles. And, it's kind of funny because everybody knows the Beatles just hit it off in America. I mean, they hit it off everywhere, all over the world. But what happened to the Beatles was, they were one of these kind of rising British bands like the Dave Clark Five and a number of other ones in the early '60s. England was in pretty bad shape at that time in the early '60s. Beatles came from the poor town of Liverpool, which was basically a working class town, and they were just kind of young, struggling musicians. And I think most of the British bands were kind of like that. They were just kind of these young, struggling lads from England who were trying to make a living as musicians. A few of them made it big. I think most of them didn't, unfortunately. But the Dave Clark Five was another big British invasion band. As a matter of fact, in England, I think they were just as popular as the Beatles when the Beatles took off. As a matter of fact, the first big hit song for the Dave Clark Five was Glad All Over, which went to number one in England. It actually knocked the Beatles out of the number one spot in England. I was pretty surprised when I learned this, but it actually knocked I Want to Hold Your Hand, the Beatles' first number one, I believe both in England and in America. The Dave Clark Five managed to knock it out of the top spot in their home country of England. And then I think they were really big in England for about 2 or 3 years. They were kind of big in America, but they were never anywhere nearly as big as the Beatles. And I think for a lot of good reasons. The Beatles, I think, were much more, much greater musicians. I don't know if the Dave Clark Five wrote their own music. If they did, I don't think it was that good. I mean, it was okay. They had catchy songs. I do really like Glad All Over. I like a lot of their early songs. I like Bits and Pieces. I even like this one, Catch Us If You Can. But I just think they were kind of wannabe Beatles. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I don't think they ever had any really, really great hits. I mean, and some of their hits were remakes. I mean, I know they had hits with some Chuck Berry remakes, like I forget which one. The Beatles did too. But oh yeah, yeah, Reelin' and Rockin' was a Chuck Berry remake. They also had a remake of You Got What It Takes, which I actually kind of like. I don't think they're that great a band, but I do like some of their songs, including Catch Us If You Can. So that's why it's on my list, and that's my profile on that song. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.